This message is on if God brings you to it, He will bring you through it. This chapter 3, starting at verse 2. And the angel of the Lord appeared unto him, this is Moses he appeared to, in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush. And he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed. And Moses said, I will now turn aside and see this great sight, why the bush is not burnt. And the Lord saw that he turned aside to see. God called unto him out of the midst of the bush and said, Moses, Moses. And he said, Here am I. And he said, Draw not nigh hither. Put off thy shoes from off thy feet, for the place whereon thou standest is holy ground. Moreover, he said, I am the God of thy fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. And Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look upon God. And the Lord said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people which are in Egypt, and have heard their cry by reason of taskmasters. For I know their sorrows, and I am come down to deliver them out of the land, out of the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them up out of that land unto a good land, and a large, unto a land flowing with milk and honey, unto the place of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites. Now therefore, behold, the cry of the children of Israel is come unto me. I have also seen the oppression wherewith the Egyptians oppressed them. Come now therefore, and I will send thee unto Pharaoh, that thou mayest bring forth my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. And Moses said unto God, Who am I, that I should go unto Pharaoh, and that I should bring forth the children of Israel out of Egypt? And he said, Certainly, I will be with thee, and this shall be a token unto thee, that I have sent thee. When thou hast brought forth the people out of Egypt, ye shall serve God upon this mountain. And Moses said unto God, Behold, when I come unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, The God of your fathers has sent me unto you, and they shall say to me, What is his name? What shall I say unto them? And God said unto Moses, I am that I am. And he said, Thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, I am has sent me unto you. In the Old Testament, when people would ask God for his name, I don't think he had a name in the Old Testament, because would answer him. He would say something like, I am that I am, as seen here. Or like when he said to Jacob, wherefore dost thou ask my name? And God said, moreover, unto Moses, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, the Lord God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob has sent me unto you. This is my name forever, and this is my memorial unto all generations. See, he'll say stuff like God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He don't give a name. I don't think he had a name until the angel Gabriel gave him the name Jesus. Go and gather the elders of Israel, therefore, and any unto them, the Lord God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, of Isaac, and of Jacob, appeared unto me, saying, I have surely visited you, and seen that which is done to you in Egypt. And I said, I will bring you up out of the affliction of Egypt unto the land of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, unto a land flowing with milk and honey. And they shall hearken to thy voice, and thou shalt come, thou and the elders of Israel, unto the king of Egypt, and ye shall say unto him, the Lord God of the Hebrews has met with us, and now let us go, we beseech thee, 3 days' journey into the wilderness, that we may sacrifice to the Lord our God. And I'm sure that the king of Egypt will not let you go, no, not by a mighty hand. And I will stretch out my hand and smite Egypt with all my wonders, which I will do in the midst thereof, and after that he will let you go. And I will give this people favor in the sight of the Egyptians. And it shall come to pass that when ye go, ye shall not go empty. For every woman shall borrow of her neighbor, and of her that sojourneth in her house, jewels of silver and jewels of gold, and raiment, and ye shall put them upon your sons and upon your daughters, and ye shall spoil the Egyptians. On down to chapter 4. And Moses answered and said, but behold, they will not believe me, nor hearken unto my voice. For they will say, the Lord has not appeared unto thee. Notice how Moses keeps making excuses here. He don't go to Egypt. Before he left, if you read earlier, he'd killed an Egyptian. He does not want to face the Pharaoh after that. And the Lord said unto him, what is that in thine hand? And he said, a rod. And he said, cast it on the ground. And he cast it on the ground, and it became a serpent. And Moses fled from before it. I think that God may have been trying to scare Moses here. It's like his example saying, look, you better do what I tell you to here. And the Lord said unto Moses, put forth thine hand and take it by the tail. Now that's where I would be arguing with him. And he put forth his hand and caught it and it became a rod in his hand, that they may believe that the Lord God of their fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, has appeared unto thee. And the Lord said furthermore unto him, Put now thy hand into thy bosom. And he put his hand into his bosom, and when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous as snow. And he said, Put thine hand into thy bosom again. And he put his hand into his bosom again, and plucked it out of his bosom, and behold, it was turned again as his other flesh. And it shall come to pass, if they will not believe thee, neither hearken to the voice of the first sign, that they will believe the voice of the latter sign. And it shall come to pass, if they will not believe also these two signs, neither hearken unto thy voice, that thou shalt take of the water of the river, and pour it upon the dry land, and the water which thou takest out of the river shall become blood upon the dry land. And Moses said unto the Lord, O my Lord, I am not eloquent, neither therefore heretofore, nor since thou hast spoken unto thy servant, but I am slow of speech and of a slow tongue. Now, Acts chapter 7, it mentions Moses as a good speaker. So there's one or two things could have been happening here. Either Moses spoke the Egyptian language as his first language, and known Hebrew as second language. Remember, he was raised in an Egyptian. Or he could have just been using this as an excuse to try to get out of going to Egypt. And the Lord said unto him, Who has made man's mouth, or who maketh the dumb or deaf? By the way, somebody may be wondering what I'm talking about. The word dumb here actually means mute, just because it don't mean the same thing today as it did back then. Or the seeing, or the blind. Have not I the Lord? Now, therefore, go, and I will be with thy mouth, and teach thee what thou shalt say. And he said, O my Lord, send, I pray thee, by the hand of him whom thou wilt send. And the anger of the Lord was kindled against Moses. God's getting mad at him here. And he said, Is not Aaron the Levite thy brother? I know that he can speak well, and also, behold, he cometh forth to meet thee, and when he seeth thee, he will be glad in his heart. Then you read on down to Exodus chapter 14, which I'm not going to go through all that, but they'll be at the Red Sea, and behind them will be Pharaoh's army. In front of them, the Red Sea. As far as they can see, they got nowhere to go. But God parts the Red Sea so that they can go across it. God brought them to the Red Sea. They probably didn't see a way out, but God brought them across. If God brings you to something, he will bring you through it.